Welcome to TVNPA's June Community Program. I'm Kathy Young, the CEO and President of the Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, and I'm so glad you're here. Before we begin, I do want to do introductions, but I think we're going to have people trickling in, so I'm going to wait just a minute to do that. But I am going to give you some of our announcements right now. So, next month, June 29th, right here at the Bankhead Theater, we're going to have our very own Chris Carter talking. The topic is philanthrophobia, the fear of fundraising, and how to overcome the fear of fundraising with a plan. And those of you who know Chris, he's definitely one of the best fundraisers in our area, and he's also got a really great dry sense of humor, so it will not only be educational, it'll be entertaining as well. No pressure, Chris isn't here, but no pressure, Chris. But it's great. So, and that will be here. Then on Saturday, August 1, we're hosting our second annual Community Health Resource and Volunteer Fair at the Robert Livermore Community Center. And this free event will include health and mental health resources, local nonprofits and public agencies, youth activities, senior services, volunteer opportunities. Tri-Valley Haven will be holding their Backpack for Kids distribution, and Open Heart Kitchen will be providing lunch for everybody. Next Saturday is our Live from the Grove. That's our fundraiser at Olivina Olive Grove. I think we have about 15 tickets left, so if you haven't gotten, it's time now. We're definitely going to sell out. Oh, look, there's John Buss from Open Heart Kitchen. John will be there. And then Dee Dee Kiesow will also be joining us as our MC and auctioneer for that evening. So that will give you, this will give you a little preview of the energy and expertise she'll be bringing to the Grove. I like to keep things moving forward, so right now I am going to introduce our speaker, Dee Dee Kiesow, who's an award-winning fundraiser, keynote speaker, and professionally trained auctioneer who has raised more than $72 million for charitable organizations. She's the founder of 3 nonprofit organizations serving youth sports and veterans with PTSD. As CEO of Benefit Auctions and Strategies, she partners with nonprofit leaders to design strategic, high-impact galas that inspire generous giving and long-term engagement. Recognized as a 2025 Outstanding Fundraiser Professional by the Association of Fundraising Professionals, Dee Dee is also the author of Raise $1 Million Without Asking for a Dime. We've had Dee Dee here a couple of times over the years, and as I mentioned, she's going to be at our MC and auctioneer at our fundraiser next weekend. And so it's my pleasure to introduce her this morning.
Thank you. Welcome. It is absolutely a delight to be here. My daughter lives here in Livermore, and we're excited to be having a wedding in Livermore as soon as she gets engaged. So, how did I wind up here? I wound up here because I had 30 years of fundraising experience and founding nonprofits and every single job that you can imagine. Volunteer, development director, all the other pieces, CEO, CFO, founder, president. And then I went to a terrible gala. Now, I had this wonderful mentor named Kathy Kingston, and I was running a nonprofit and wanted to have this tequila tasting in a garden, and I'm going to try to keep it short, but let's just say tickets were $50 a piece, and the only thing I had to pay for was $5 a head for the caterer, and all the rest was profit. And that's because I called this Kathy Kingston lady who was this auctioneer, and she was coaching me all this stuff for free. And it was really hard to think like that, because that's not how I ever raised money. That raised a lot of money. And besides the fact that we found a drunk person asleep in the lawn the next day, everything went wonderful. So, fast forward about a year, and I was a guest of a very wealthy donor who had the front table at a gala, and this was for women who were either drug addicted, homeless, and pregnant. And their auctioneer was a comedian. Now, is there anything funny about that cause at all? So I sat at that table and I was absolutely appalled. I felt that some of the women were being exploited to tell their story so they could get money at the organization. And people, I think, were feeling like me because they weren't giving any money. And I was embarrassed to be there, but I couldn't leave because that would be rude. And so I went up to the CEO and I said, this is the single worst event I've ever been to in my life, and I can't get my minutes back. And so he interviewed me, didn't hire me. Then he called me 3 months later and said I might have made a mistake. That next year, instead of spending $47,000 to raise 33, we raised $210,000, and I started with lapsed donors. Is this a light bulb, anybody yet? I'm so lucky because they hired me and my direct boss let me do anything I wanted to. So I went to, on my vacation, that lady, Kathy, she said, you should go to auction school because you're an auctioneer, you just don't know it. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. So I went to auction school. And I went in, and I used to wear a sheath all the time, and I had really short flipped hair because I thought I looked like Jackie at the time. And I went in, and it was all a bunch of cowboys with giant belt buckles and hats. And they all said, howdy, ma'am. And by day 3, I was in my room crying my eyes out because I couldn't talk like them. As little boys, they all grow up in the Midwest and talking like auctioneers, and their dream is to be an auctioneer so they don't have to pay the auctioneer all the money and they can get all that money for themselves and on their selling their cattle, etc. So I was the single person or two that came there to learn about benefit auctions. Now, I had to be educated so I could get licensed to be an auctioneer. Bet you didn't know that, huh? Because there's a lot of people that say I'm an auctioneer. And they come in and they have a very transactional approach to your gala because they don't understand nonprofits. Because at auction school, they don't even explain that. Because there's this other thing called benefit auctioneering, and that's what Kathy insisted that I move forward and do. So I got to be her apprentice, and we actually went to the Sonoma wine auction, and she had taken that from 1.3 or 4 million to $5.2 million in 2019, and it was the number 3 biggest wine fundraiser in the United States. And she taught me everything. She passed away in January of 2020, and with her family, her sister, and a lot of the information that I learned from her through the years, I'm taking her message forward. And I will say, probably the hardest part of this was having to think the other side, think in sales and marketing, because I had always been thinking as a non-profit person where, oh no, we need this amount of money and I don't know who to ask. And I don't want to ask, and I'm tired, I already asked everybody and I don't know where else to get the money, and oh my gosh, what are we going to do, and my boss needs more money. That sound familiar? What if you stepped over on this side? I'm going to welcome people to give a joyful gift because we are going to lead with mission and story. And when we have this event, we are looking at enrolling lifetime donors. Raise your hand if you think that sounds better than planning the gala from over here. What do you think? It took me a while to believe it. And I will tell you, after that first gala, you know, where, oh, I didn't tell you that part. They hired somebody else, that gala that I went, you know, that one where I went to auction school and then I came back to help and I planned the whole thing. They had a man because they didn't want a woman asking for the money. And then he choked on the first item. But I'm pretty smart. I had a backup hot mic on my table just in case I needed to jump in. And I couldn't sleep all night because that money came so easily. $210,000 came so easily I couldn't sleep all night because I thought, did I do something wrong? Is it really this easy? Are all those people really that happy and they had so much fun? But the very best part was what? Does anybody want to guess what the very best part of that event was? Was it before the event and all the people and the sponsorships? Was it the event? Or was it, the day after the event when we're so tired? Anybody want to guess?
How about the residual donors that you got so you didn't have to go out for it?
Oh, we have a superstar in the room, everybody. I use that event as an onboarding ramp to lifetime donors, because I had lapsed donors, and I had this gentleman like right here, and I'd called and I said, I see you haven't, given in a while. He goes, well, nobody's ever invited me to anything. I said, well, would you be my guest at the gala? And then I asked him later, I said, why did you come? Because he gave like $10,000. He goes, I came because nobody ever invited me. He's still giving to that organization big time. He's one of their major givers. Left by the wayside. How many of those people do you have? We're using this event, and you don't even have to call it a gala, because I think that's a total disservice. We're using that to do 3 E's, and I'm going to talk about those after I introduce you to this. This is from a book called Flash Foresight by a gentleman named John Burris. And I read this and I thought, this is exactly what I want to bring to nonprofit strategies that I'm working with. And so you start with certainty. Not like, I hope we raise money at that event. We're going to say certainty. We are going to raise $100,000. Now, does anyone get their head cut off if you raise 99? No, but we want to think like winners. You're a startup. You're a business. So, certainty. Yes, we're going to do this. And we're going to anticipate this event, and we're going to base it on strategies that will happen in the future. Kathy's having an event. We are going to base a strategy in the future. We know that future is going to have a little bit of a live auction. We're going to have a raffle. We're going to have a doggone good time. We know that. Does that change your thinking already? You're feeling better about the event. You're going to transform how we sell, market, collaborate, communicate, educate, and innovate. You're not going to do it the same old way. Because if you do it the same old way, I guarantee you might do as well as you've done before, but you will likely do less. Because they're all onto you and they're expecting this. And it might be tired, they don't want to even go. Because they can anticipate it's going to be just like last year. Take your biggest problem and skip it. It's not your real problem anyway. Kathy, what's the biggest problem?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let's make up something. Maybe Kathy's biggest problem is she needs 12 more people for the event.
I'll take that.
Okay. Is it the people that's the problem?
No,
No, it's not. What is the real problem?
we're not asking the right people.
Could be. What if there isn't enough awareness to all the people that could come? And so there's probably 70 more people that could come if they knew about it and they were on your right list, and it would have sold out already. So we have a marketing and an enrollment issue. Do we all have that?
Yeah.
We sure do. So we got to anticipate. We're going to take that biggest problem and skip it because it's not people. She could worry. I need 50 more people. No, you don't. No, you don't. Call, email, call. Call, email, call. Call, email, call. Write that down. Call, email, call. Because that is a 3-step process to get anything you want. Call, email, call. I'll even demonstrate it. Hello, and how are you today? Your name?
Allegra.
Allegra, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. You know, this is Dee Dee over at the XYZ, and I don't see your name on our list of coming to our very fun event. And I'd like to invite you to that because the transformation we are going to have is going to change the world with $1, and that dollar is coming from you, and I'm going to send you a follow-up email. Would that be all right?
That's all right, and thank you for the
personal invitation, Dee Dee.
You're so welcome. Do take a look at that email. And if you have any questions, you can call me back. There's going to be an opportunity for you to go right through the direct link to our event to sign up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call in about 3 days to follow up with this conversation and make sure that we get you there if that's going to work for you. How does that sound?
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how hard was that? High level, you're expecting good stuff. No, I'm calling because we're having an event. And I don't know if you're going to want to go. You're probably busy. Never mind. So that follow-up call is going to be, want to make sure you got the email. And if you had any questions, or are we going to see you at the event? And I'm so happy. By the way, I'm going to sit at my table. What do you think she's going to remember? Think she's going to have a good time? We're going to make sure, because we have a wonderful donor right here. And donors aren't ATMs, they are human beings. And no donors auto pen building or anything like that ever sent you a check. Every single check you get is not completely automated by AI yet, and they're still coming from people. So your fast track to getting what you want, you don't just want money. You want relationships, because Sherry here knows other people that might like your cause. And if you imagine a forest and it has leopards in it, right? They all see you. You just can't see them. And the only way that I'm going to get to know some of Sherry's leopards that I can never see or find is Sherry. Because you're camouflage, and she's going to say, hey, here's a cause, come with me. I could never reach you before. So remember, I want you to think of donors as leopards.
Yes.
So, yeah, I went on a safari last year, and that stuck in my head. Go opposite. Look where no one else is looking and see what no one else is seeing. That's what we just did right here. And you can do this with everything. Redefine and reinvent. Use tech-driven change to create new products and services. Do not replace yourself with tech. This is not a donor development person. You're going to be getting more and more email from AI is going to do your development for you. You're going to automate all your fundraising. You can, and you will separate yourself from any relationship building, any of this friendship introduction. And so I welcome you to do it, and I give you 18 months, and you won't have any donors anymore. So a lot of promises out there, and it can help you. It can help you organize and do the work you do, but it can't replace hospitality and friendship and opportunities to solve problems without any unanticipated consequences. So, love it. Redefine, reinvent smartly. Strategically direct your future is my favorite, or somebody else will direct it for you. How does that sound? If you don't have a strategic plan, like Kathy has this wonderful strategic plan for her event. We're not letting other people decide how it's going to work out. We're not going to just have an event planner create something and we'll show up, we'll get through it and onto the other side, and then we're done and we're ready for our next thing. We need to be mentally involved and strategically involved, because what is the outcome we want? Well, at every event we want to raise money, but we want people to remember it, talk about it in the car. Gosh, can you believe that happened? That was so cool. How about that speaker? That really blew my mind. I didn't know they did that. Gee, we raised some money. It's great to raise money at these events. But that most important piece is after the event. Have you ever heard that before? No. Have you all executed that as good as you possibly can? All right, well, let's do some of that too. I like boards because I think slides are boring.
Dee Dee, can I ask a question real quick?
You can certainly ask a question.
If you were talking about exploiting the people who are receiving the services for your fundraising, how do you suggest getting that message across if you're not doing that?
That's great. So for some reason, I do so much trafficking fundraising. I'm doing a lot of anti-trafficking, and I never want a trafficked person on the stage. But we can talk about the impact. You can do a video, a small video, not a 20-minute video. 5 minutes max, 3 to 5. I mean, I used to do TV news. You can tell a lot in 3 minutes. You tell the right way. You want to talk about the impact. You might even have a voiceover. It could be their voice, but you don't need the person. And there is a methodology for it's a 3-step process to tell the story and have the story of transformation, and that's a whole class I offer. But there are so many ways to tell a story and show impact. It could be a donor who realized that the impact and their generous gifts they're giving. I'd like to come up and talk to you about the $25,000 gift I gave last year and how I know that helped so and so and so and make this happen, right? So that's something I could go into really deep when I work one-on-one with people. But just know, never go for exploiting somebody for money. Please. So, a lot of people think, and I never knew this before because I didn't know about auctioneers. Like, this woman told me this, right? I'm like, oh, you hire someone to do a gala and they talk fast? So, I'm going to go into what Kathy taught me about the asker. And she said it took all of these things. First of all, they need skill and experience. With me, mine came, so the auctioneer thing, I've been doing that for 9 years, and $72 million came out of that in 9 years, not 30 years, because believe me, it was way less than that for the other years. But skill and experience, right? I study this all the time, and I go to a lot of trainings and I teach auctioneers. Audience read. So people say this is my superpower, but I can read a room, and I could tell you right now who gives at a live auction. I can just tell. You do. I can tell you do. And then compassion for the cause. Here is, I think, where we've really missed out, that you're looking for a transactional person to do that work for you, right? Oh gosh, we don't want to get on the microphone and ask anybody for money. That's awful. So we'll just call it auctioneer, and that's what they do. But auctioneers sell cars and animals, and we talked about that before. So you want to be very careful. You want to have somebody who can have a heart for your cause, and they are your ambassador to educate, elevate, and enroll the people in the room to become lifetime donors. So if you have a transaction happening, that's a disservice, and you only get these people for so many minutes a year in a room. So be careful. What if you have skill in an audience read, but you don't have compassion for the cause? Well, you have underwhelming results. If you have audience read and compassion for the cause, but no skill, that's a liability. And I'm telling you that because crazy things have happened, and I'm licensed and bonded. I've never had a problem, but people think up silly things to say and sell, and it may not represent your organization the way it needs to be represented. And I'm not going to go into any individual things, but that's a story for later. And then skill and experience, compassion, but no audience read. Well, you're missing those major donors because you're just being transactional. Give me $500, now $700, $1,000. Come on, you had it. You owned it once. Come on. Don't be cheap. Well, your mother didn't raise a loser, right? Have you heard that? Just don't do that. We don't do that because that's going to really diss major donors. So if you want to absolutely have maximum monetization of your minutes, which by the way I trademarked monetize your minutes, and there's a whole system for that, then get the right asker. Any questions? My next low tech. So this was a real aha to me, because I realized that a lot of people were here. You start here every year, right? It's like, oh, here we are back to planning some kind of an event to get everybody there so we can get money. And then you have committees. You have all these committees, and sometimes nobody in the organization is even part of the committee. That is a huge mistake, because this is an arm on donor development and donor acquisition. And so the biggest failure is my favorite one here. I saw this thing once and we really need to do it. Okay, what would that be? And so just because it happened somewhere, you don't know what the results are, and I can tell you pretty much. Give me the game and I'll tell you what the results were, right? So you don't want a bunch of silly games if you're a serious cause. You do not need a comedian to come and take up some time. Every bit of those minutes need to be mission minutes, because what we are doing is creating lifetime donor opportunities here for enrollment. I'm going to say it anyway. Okay, imagine it's church, right? And it's a 2-hour church. So you're not going to bring in a monkey show so everybody laughs and feels good, right? They're going to contain every minute of that to keep it mission driven, and the songs are going to be kind of related, so everything will be somewhat related. So if you only have a few minutes to convert people, you have 2 hours of their time, you want to make it count. And so be thinking mission driven. Here's the other one, is like, okay, we're going to get to where we were last year, and let's just get through this thing because we have it every year and it's so hard. Well, now this is a little less all volunteer driven, which is really heart driven, but you know what? We need strategy. And you need to know what, or work with what really works. So what I do in my 6-figure fundraising framework, I want to know what success looks like for you. Okay. You guys can take pictures later. I'll put these up. But so what does success look like? We want to raise, okay, I'll give you an example of one I just did in South Dakota last week. Fabulous organization. They'd never done a gala before, and they were so afraid they're going to lose money. And actually, I was more afraid for them than they were. But what does success look like? Well, we hope we can just make $70,000. I'm like, well, let's shoot for 150. Because when you shoot low, you go low, right? And so what does success look like? Well, let's have these kinds of people in the room. Let's have a little bit of a live auction. And we started here because it's a 5-step process. Before the event, pre-event money. What is it you can do to get the pre-event money before the event? I thought they should do a raffle, a $100 raffle, 100 tickets at $100, and then they'd raise $10,000, and then we would buy a small trip that did not cost $10,000, and then somebody would win, and they would raise whatever the difference was. And so what happened was they sold out before the auction. So they had $10,000, and then we didn't have a raffle because a lot of tough raffle rules in South Dakota. Yeah. And there are rules in California. You all know you have to get a permit for the raffle. So that wasn't a crisis. We took it and moved forward in other ways. Then we wanted to get the right people in the room. There's a whole strategy for that, and there's a whole class I do on that. And then you want to be reaching directly to the people. And you reach to the people in several different ways. Anybody have any ideas?
Call them.
Sorry?
Call them.
Well, now we're already in the room. And it is, what is it we're doing to get the money with the people in the room?
Connecting.
Connecting to the mission, that's the fund and need. Okay, I'm going to break it down, and we're going to talk about left brain, right brain. Because remember, marketing What are we going to do different? We're going to do marketing different, and we're going to be strategic. Here's what I know that I never knew before, and that is there are psychological profiles that come to everything. Now, some of you, raise your hand if you like the silent auction. Oh no, don't raise your hand if you like the silent auction. We'll do it with the other. Silent auction takes you the most time in the world to create. It raises the least amount of money. It takes up square footage. So if we were having a silent auction, I'd need like 2 or 3 of those tables there. And you know what I could do with 2 or 3 of those tables? I could have 3 tables of 10, and that's 30 individuals. And do you see the income generation that I could do with 3 tables if I get rid of that? And if I could turn these into the other things that make money. If you have a raffle, you have to pay to play, right? So make it where they want to spend $100, $200, or $500, right? So we're looking at $100 bills and not $10 bills. So I might say a raffle is $25 each, 5 for $100, 12 for $200, and 50 tickets for $500. Wow, now they're thinking they get all kinds of free tickets. And one of my favorite live auction items is $500 to use in the live auction. How much did that cost you? You could say it. Nothing!
Yes.
Is that fun? It's so cool. Because you can only use it in the live auction, and if you don't use it, well, thanks for helping out in the live auction. So if you won that $500, I could start the live auction like this. Ah, Sherry, I know you love the $500, what about $500? I can take it to $1,000 over here to you. Now, do you see I can open up every item with Sherry until she spends her money, or not? But now I have taken the psychology of I gotta get something for the ticket. And then we have competitive bidders. There's always people that like to win and they like to have something, right? And it could be very, very cool. That particular group had no live auction items, and so I was working with a board who has a connection to this, who has a connection to that. And guess what we got? You'll never guess. I'll give you a prize if you guess. Time's up. No, no, close, very close. We got a private jet to go from Sioux Falls to Green Bay. And it had 6 tickets to the Green Bay, Minnesota game, because not everybody at Sioux Falls likes Green Bay, they also like Minnesota. So that is their ideal rivalry game, and it had a limo ride and food and drinks to and from, and I was hoping it would sell for $100,000, but it didn't. And but it did sell for $15,000, and it cost them nothing. So I wanted them to find items that they could find up their sleeve that didn't cost any money, that we could easily do, and how did you like that? So success was to find things they had up their sleeve they didn't have to spend any money for. And then, that's a competitive bidder, and then we have the philanthropist. And, over here, you are going to just love the philanthropist over here at Sunflower Hill, exactly. So, the philanthropist is the last one that we give an opportunity to give a gift, and that is because we have missionized every moment, and they know what the outcomes are. And your perfect asker is going to really go deep and do donor enrollment before you ask for that first dollar. And so, for instance, I'll give you the spiel that I did with this organization in South Dakota. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard the transformation and the outcomes that this organization provides. With over, I didn't pause there, I'm thinking. Over 400 women a year come to this organization because they have been trafficked. And some of the people this year were from the ages of 2 to 59 years old. So do you see how that's a very different approach? You're not saying it, a third party is saying it that has done a lot of research on your organization, because this is the most important moment of your entire year. It's not Giving Tuesday. We hope people give. This is real live people, real live mission outcomes. And then I'm going to start at $5,000. But before I ask for that $5,000 gift, I would be remiss to allow somebody in the audience to give us a hero gift, something greater than $5,000. So if there's anybody, I'm going to take a minute and you can think about if that would be $10, $15, $20,000. Do I have a hero in the room anywhere now? And if you'd like to come up and dedicate that gift to somebody, it happens. What would that number be? What would that joyful giving number be? Well, somebody said 10,000, and somebody else said 10,000. I got 4 people at $10,000, and at checkout, this lady raised her gift to $25,000 because they didn't want everybody in the room to know that I gave $25,000, because that is a very wise philanthropist. What do you think of that? So we raised $250,000.
Wow.
Never been there before. Nice little town. I get to get pictures with little piglets. And so, made my trip. Any thoughts, questions on this? There are so many things that we have to get you to here, not here, and never here. I've never finished a gala here, and over 250 events. Always, maybe not quite gotten where I'd like them to be, and that's usually we didn't call anybody, we got tired, there are just so many things where there's lack of following through. And a lot of that I know, I've been there. You don't have the right people working with you. Sometimes it's toxic, you're exhausted, you don't feel supported. But that's what I do, is to work with people to see this and get there. No questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Your planning process, how far out do you start to get to this success versus?
That depends how much you want to spend. No. So we can do it a year in advance, and that's board training, everybody training, it's development training. There's so, like my contract, there's like 25 things in the year-long thing, right? And unlimited coaching, you can text me, and then there's the medium level, and then there's the, I do not show up and talk for any organization. I need to know you, I need to know your people. It's a disservice. So there's other people who do that, but I want to know your mission because I'm there to help you find lifetime donors. I'm not there to have a transaction so we just get to the money. And so 3 or 4 months is probably short. I mean, I do have emergency calls, like we had a free auctioneer and he had something else come up and now we got nobody. And if I can do that, I'll help them out. But I want you to think about this. And it's the 3 E's, and we're talking about return on investment, right? You don't want to be spending all this money because you're not really throwing a party. And you never went to a party and a fundraiser broke out, right? So you don't need to pretend you're having a party. We're not going to apologize. We're going to say, welcome to our annual fundraising event. Let them know ahead of time. So they bring their money. We also might want to let them know ahead of time that we are in the business of providing shelter and opportunities with people with special abilities, right? Trafficking. So there will be new people always at these events that you're going to have to start from. Educate. So return on experience. Not the same old, fast-talking auctioneer, 1,000 silent auction items, look under your chair for a star and see if you won. No, you have to have it, remember, anticipate. We're going to look ahead because this is a donor enrollment machine. So the return on experience is you had such a good time that you're not going to forget what this place does, how you could make a difference. And you had a great time doing it. So, educate. Left side of the brain. You can do posters. You can do video and send it to people's email ahead of time so they can see a quick thing, so they can start getting a little bit of the message of what you do. You need a very high energy, not over the top nuts, but you don't want people falling asleep. You don't want such a long talk. I mean, I had one about a month ago, and the chairman of the board just insisted he needed to talk. And so then he did. And it was like this. In January, our P&L looked like this. And it went for 22 minutes. Oh my gosh. And, that's what your annual report's for. High level, elevate. Is it a joyful occasion? Let me tell you, if everything's awful about your organization, nobody wants to give any money to it. And if you're sinking and you don't have money to keep afloat, nobody wants to send corks for your leaky boat. So what is the upside? We're investing in outcomes, not sorry, we're going out of business, and if you don't give, then nobody's going to eat. And I've seen this, not at any that I've done. And then enrollment. What if this event was really about enrolling donors? I have Kathy over here. She's been a lifetime donor. You know what she's done? She's brought her friends to her table so we could talk about this and learn more. And then I'm going to just give you something that you guys just, and I only do this in my highest level of private coaching, but listen up. After the event, Kathy, we are going to look at your table. And we're going to see how your table performed. And sadly, Christine gave nothing. And this is the second year she's come and given nothing. So Kathy, bring her again. I want you to look at these seats as real estate, right?
Yeah.
And so we got to up the real estate and think of somebody else that we could educate, elevate, and enroll because you're offsetting. Now, this brings me to this other thing that happens, and that is, woo, we sold all the tables and we're full. No. You don't want to sell those all with sponsors because who do they bring? They bring my son and my mother-in-law. Yes. And my mother-in-law one time said, oh, you must be rich to be able to give them that kind of money. And so I don't want to be judged. I want to have my like-minded people, right? And my son is just going to play on his phone and drink. He doesn't have any money. So who are we bringing? That's a good enrollment possibility. And when we look at that table year after year, remember she's got a lot of tigers in her jungle. And we want to be able to get to all the ones that are going to love us. Now, we can also do something else. I'm telling you all my best secrets. But if we look at all of these tables and we have some amazing person like you that gave that $20,000, and now guess what? We're going to enroll her and talk about who are her tigers. Because she might be able to be a table lead and not a sponsor who's just going to fill it up with the staff and people who love to eat and drink. I mean, don't we all? But let's keep it mission driven.
How do you,
Yes.
how do you do that? So you're selling tickets and all of a sudden the whole family's going, including the teenagers and maybe a child, and it's going to be a fun event, but how do you control that?
So I'll be saying, what's your name, Kathy?
Catherine.
Catherine, we so appreciate you here. And since this is a shelter for women who've been abused, a very sensitive mission, as you know, we've spoken about this in your tours and you've met some of our wonderful people in the program. You know that the right people to bring are going to be those who have a heart for this organization, who are mature enough to hear some of these situations. And can I count on you on really helping us build that donor roll with your best people? You don't have to lie, just tell them the truth, right?
That would mean calling every person that bought tickets.
No, I already have a relationship with you ahead of time, and we're having this conversation ahead of time, not like, there we go, sell the tickets, right? I'm going to be creating I don't know, we do this in the training, but so I like to start with a line diagram of the entire room. And then I have Catherine's table right here. And I'm like, so Catherine, tickets are going to go on sale. And I'm going to call everybody. I have 30 tables. And so every board member is going to get a table. And probably my 12 to 15 captains like you. So if I'm a smart development director, you're in my close circle anyway. And so we're going to maybe have a salon at my house or a meeting to talk about what would it look like to be a table captain and some of the expectations we have so we can all succeed together. How does that feel? Any questions? Strategic all the way, not one-on-one. Because your work never gets finished that way. So I used to be a development director, of course, and the project was, at the end of the month, here's a report, how many people did you talk to, how many houses did you visit, how many people did you ask for money, and how much money did you get? And that is not fun. But when you can educate, and imagine this is our enrollment event, educate everybody, elevate everybody, and enroll those who want to be enrolled, do you think that is a little bit of a fast rocket ship for a development director and the entire organization? You're able to do it all at once, and then the follow-up is just looking at the numbers and thanking them, bringing them on tour, and doing all the enrollment pieces. So let's talk about the funded need and how that translates into donors. So I don't have any more boards, so we're going to imagine, use our imagination. And so you have your tomato ladder, right? The very top are the 20,000 and those four $10,000 people. Then we have the 5,000 and the 2,500 and the 1,000. And down here we have the 250 and the 100. I'm just keeping it simple. You have an enrollment plan for the people up here, especially if they're new. And even if they're your regular people, but these people are your major donor development person people. And then your mid-levels are these here. And what is your enrollment plan for them? Oh. Well, be that way. That's good, I'll just leave it here. Thank you, though. What is your enrollment plan? So I want you to think of onboarding. Think of it as the first day of work. And remember, I had that job I was telling you about? My first day was they didn't have a laptop, and they had no donors for me, and they're like, okay, there's your desk, and we have like pen and paper, like, we don't have a plan for me to get to work, because I'm like ready to turn this baby around. And so I started with lapsed donors because they didn't know where all the other donors were, and there was way more lapsed donors than anything else. So I'm like, well, I got a phone and a list of lapsed donors. I'm just gonna start dialing and getting to know people. But they didn't have an onboarding program at all. And then by the time the event was over, like, oh, well, it's year end now, and so we just gotta get on to that. And they all gave money, so they love us. No thank you. And so this is one of my favorite things, is within 48 hours after the event, get on the phone and thank everybody. And I have one client, well, actually, one actually did it. They just don't do it. But here's what happens, is you're gonna differentiate yourself. How are you standing out? How are you differentiating yourself from all the other organizations, all the other events they go to? Because you know what, year end is coming. And are they going to think about you? Well, it's your job to make sure they're thinking about you. Not their job to think about you. People have an average of 3 to 5 charities that they give to every year. And where are you on that pecking order? Are you even on the ladder at all? So that's on you. And the follow-up, and here's the best part, I'm even going to give you this today. Here's the follow-up call. Pick on Sherry. Sherry, thank you so much for coming to our event.
I had a great time.
I'm so glad you had a great time. I want to thank you for joining us at the raffle, the live auction, and that $3,000 gift. That was so generous. Now tell me, what did you like most about the event?
Oh, I think I liked the fact that I was helping out, that I was doing something good.
Did you hear that? This is a philanthropist here. It's not just a raffle person, right? Well, we want to say thank you so much. We love to invite you to a salon appreciation event where we can maybe get to know you a little better, give you a tour, and we'll call back and schedule that up. And we want to thank you so much for coming.
That would be lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And then guess what? You're actually going to call her back and invite her for a tour in a salon event, right?
Could you explain what a salon event is?
I sure will. Salon is kind of like the word I came up with, because when you go to the salon, like you go in and you come out like a human car wash, like you come back, you just look better and you feel better, right? So instead of it being a fundraiser, it's a kind of an appreciation, right? Like a tea or a moment with Sherry. And we're just going to say, thanks for coming. I'd love to bring you on a tour. We're going to talk about maybe what do you like most about our organization, right? Well, if you like a certain level, then that might be the reason that you're coming and giving. And so it's get to know you a little better, and then guess what you're going to do after that? You're going to actually put the notes in the CRM. And so we can know what you like. And then we come in and see and customize that donor relationship. And so the salon is not to ask for any money, but it's to warm up and say thank you, give a little more deeper information. If you just use your donor enrollment event or your gala, your fundraiser to say, these are all the great things we did, now give money. You didn't have enough time to resonate with that and understand the impact, right? But if I can let you in a little bit, like we're launching the Alzheimer support group next month, and we're doing that because your gift helped us do that. And so we want you to be the first to know that it's launching next month, and if you know anybody that you'd like us to reach out to, like a VIP to help them, thank you. How do you feel about that?
Really good about that.
Good. Yes, ma'am.
So in combination with the phone call, how about a thank you letter as well? Because I love both, and I think both have purpose and different meanings really as well.
So in my CRM, I'm going to say that you like notes and phone calls, right?
Right, yeah.
And yes, as a matter of fact, I was doing that with one of my clients recently. I was doing all of her handwritten thank you notes, and just because, I got time at the end of the night and I can do something else. But yeah, handwritten thank you note is a great way. A follow-up newsletter. Don't give them a monthly newsletter. That is so much information. But how about a special donor newsletter every other month, right? What if it's donor, not the one for everybody in the world, like all the people who are in the school, and it's also going to include all the donors, and it's going to include anybody who ever gave in the past, and then we're going to list every name that's ever given ever, and we'll have 400 names in the back, and it just is, no. So how about a curated just for donors, and believe me, with AI now, you don't need to spend days writing this letter. Just give them 3, no more than 3 highlights. Thank you so much. This is where your money's going. Very simple.
Are those salon events one-on-one, or could it be 2 donors or 3 donors?
I like them to be about 10 to 12 people,
Okay.
and then you see momentum. And those people can talk amongst themselves and get to know each other.
And how soon after the event do you recommend planning those?
Well, I think 3 months, 2 to 3 months, and then it's not like right on their tail, but you've had a few moments to let it sink in and then come back and revisit with that. And, you can always pull something really cool. Like one of the organizations I used to work in where the people from prison would learn cooking skills. So I'd have them make the appetizers. And then maybe if they wanted to, that guys love to say, I was in prison and I'm just so excited that I can make these sauteed scallops and I hope you like them. Wow, people love that. And then he just loved the applause and all that kind of stuff. So what is working? What's working? I believe you help college ladies in with scholarship, right? So, yeah, And so, perhaps a salon where one could come back and say, that helped me on my journey, and now I'm doing physical therapy for blah, 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 right? That just let them see a bigger picture where that investment goes. Let me tell you something that does, remind me to tell you something that doesn't work. Yes?
So back to the sponsor tickets, I know you briefly touched on that, and I think that's one of our major challenges. We have so many sponsors now in the last couple of years that we really struggle with how many seats they're getting, and to your point, they're not necessarily bringing high-level donors. In fact, it's the opposite, and some of them also feel, we're so grateful, but they feel we already sponsored at the 5 or 10. So we're just really struggling with that. What's your recommendation?
I love this question. Thank you. Other people like it too. Good. Okay, listen up. So, this is one of the conversations I like to have. I might say, so, I know that you're our major sponsor, and so we'd like to recognize the people at your table. So, who's coming that you would like us to recognize? Oh, it's not my 3-year-old. Right? So then you might think of some other people that you would like recognized because they'll feel so good being at your table. And that's the major sponsor. But not everybody gets a whole table. So I would just chop some of those seats down, like maybe the lead sponsor gets a full table and pretend it's a table of 10, and then the next level gets 6 seats. And if they want more, they can buy those seats, and if you're buying seats, those people will probably give money. Right, because they're just not going to buy tickets for anybody. And some of their friends will come and buy tickets. And then by the time you get to the lower level, and I like 3 to 5 levels at the most, not 12. And by the time you get down to the lower 3, there may be no seats at all. And how do you know how they like to be recognized? You ask them. How do you like to be recognized? Because maybe they really just don't like that thumbprint all over the place, right? Maybe there's some other way that they would like to be recognized. And I have one client that likes to be on my wine glasses, right? And he likes people to take the wine glass home. Somebody else likes to be on a can opener, right? And so everybody gets one of those with their company name on it, right? So there's lots of ways that these people, now remember, I'm going to interrupt myself even. What do you have that sponsors want? An audience.
Yeah.
That's right, because if I'm the tequila company and I'm at the Sport Booster Club, everybody's a possible customer. And you want to get in. So I'm going to tell you a story about a strategic partner I had, and it was called Tres Agaves Tequila. And it's back when I ran the Booster Club. Oh, you know it. Oh, good. You do too. It's good stuff. So it was in its early days, and Joanne Weir had introduced me to them and said, go ahead and ask Eric, because Eric's my friend and he loves soccer, and I think that'll be a good match. So Eric from Tres Agaves came and brought free tequila for our first gala. And he brought pounds and pounds of limes, and then we ran out of tequila, and the only person that could go get more was the pregnant lady, because she's the only person that wasn't drunk, and so she went into a store and bought more tequila. True story. And what did I do after that event?
Aspirin?
I didn't need aspirin. I had called the head of Tres Agaves and I said, what is it that we could do for you? And he said, well, 2 things really. One you could never do. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And he goes, I need shelf space on Bevmo. Oh, hello. So, called the head of Bevmo and I said, I've got the biggest tequila drinking bunch of people in your zip code coming, and we need Tres Agaves tequila on the shelves, or we'll just go someplace else and buy it. So within 2 weeks, Tres Agaves was on the shelf, and I will tell you that it is still there now because I occasionally buy it as a gift for other people, just so it keeps moving. And The following year, when I said, would you consider coming back? They told me two things. Yes, for sure we would, because your zip code was the #1 selling zip code of that tequila in California. How about that? So, thank you. Your job with your sponsors is to make sure that they get some reciprocity, that this isn't a one-sided taking deal. What can I do for you? How can we help you? They loved coming the next year. They brought way more, and they had a new product that they didn't have to squeeze limes anymore. So Tres Agaves has this new thing. It's called Uno, Dos, Tres, agave, because there's the bottle that is the pre-squeezed juice. So it's 1, 2, 3. Everybody got a shaker. We got the 1, 2, 3 squeezer, and it's a match made in heaven. Yes.
One of the suggestions I can have for you is we have consistently sponsors that give to us every year. They want to give, but it's a challenge for them to come to the event or to bring the right people. So what I encourage them to do is to comp their tickets, which then it gives us the ability to find the right people to encourage them to come that will donate. So we've done a lot of that.
I like that. That works really, really well. You are going to find more and more that some sponsors aren't going to be able to sponsor tables anymore because tax codes are changing, and I don't know, I'm not a CPA. But I'm hearing more and more, and I know it's happened to me, well, we can't buy tables anymore. And so, what would you do? Is there no more money at that company? Really, what many of these companies need is marketing. So I'm going to give you the biggest secret ever, and the camera here, now the world knows. You can go to the marketing department just like you would the philanthropy department in some of these organizations and get money a little faster, a little slicker, because the permissions that it takes to give money out of marketing, if you're the right crowd, are a lot faster than trying to get a donation out of the philanthropy department. And so many, I'm in San Jose, and a lot of those corporations now no longer sponsor events. They'll do some marketing stuff, but sponsoring gala, which is a 4-letter word, we've done it, we've caused that. But it's a little difficult sometimes, and companies don't want to send a group of people to get loaded at a table, but they would be willing to do some marketing or direct scholarship or some matching funds. And so, great idea. Thank you. And remember, you can always sell seats twice. Do we understand that? You have a table, they couldn't fill it, you had a few single tickets, and that seat's now, especially if you're not going to be generous, at least I sold the seat twice. Right? Any questions? Is anybody stuck on anything and you want to sit in a hot seat for 1 minute, and I'll make you an example? Yes?
No, but you need to tell us what didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Let me tell you what doesn't work. Oh, thanks for reminding me. This is the biggest enemy to an event fundraiser there is. Because my son can call me with some crisis that I have to leave and go deal with. My mother could call. Not that's totally bad, but all kinds of things can happen on a phone. And you're distracted. You might be playing like that bird game. So, QR codes to pay for things is the absolute worst idea ever. What is the best idea ever? Assign people a bid number, get their credit card number, and have a completely cashless event all night long. So 333, oh, did you want some raffle tickets? Number 333, let me just put it down right here. Oh, how about a cocktail 333? How many cocktails would you like? How about buying a round for your table? All right, there we go, 333 at $20, that's 2 times 3 is $600, right? Or I don't know where that is. If I can only add, I don't multiply. So what else is a benefit of not having cash or credit cards? Let me tell you how this can go so wrong. credit swiper's not working. The internet's not working. When you do that, now you're like a store. You had to close the door and nobody can even buy ice cream because they can't figure it out anymore. So cashless, just give them a number. And guess what? There's no sticky fingers with numbers. Because I guarantee you, if there's cash at your event, somebody is going to steal something. I'm so sorry to say that. But fraud with nonprofits, and people are looking at you with a magnifying glass now. So let's keep it on board and not cause anyone to have any second guessing with your awesome nonprofit. And then, if you're doing that, can you please make sure somebody knows how to enter the numbers in while we're still at the event? One of my clients, 3 weeks ago, a donor that I brought, and she's like a close friend of mine, and I knew her dad needed the services at this place, so it's not like I go solicit people. She's a close friend, and as a matter of fact, her dad's in the program now, and that, for good reason there. She calls up and she goes, yeah, I bought those 49er tickets and I don't know how to pay. A week later? How fun is it to write a donation check a week after the event? Now you think they can't manage their money. I mean, I was thinking, I'm so embarrassed. And I call up over there, what is going on over there? This is terrible. So get the right people. My show flows always have back of the house room to get all those numbers entered. And I love a piece of software called Octria because it's the least expensive one. And it does all kinds of fundraising, and it also can send you a text at the end of the night and says, thank you so much, your total is $9,000. Just hit send, and then it goes directly to the bank account. Isn't that easy? You look like you have a question.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have an answer, so that's what I was wondering. But I'm curious, donor advised funds.
Oh, you know what I love to do with donor advised funds? Of course I have an answer for you. We have the paddle raised, ladies and gentlemen, right now, and could you just hold a second hand up if you're going to use your donor advised fund? All right, there we go, number 319 DAF, put that down. And so my scribe is going to write DAF, and then we don't send it to your credit card. We're going to check out, we're going to find out just how you like to do that. And I don't know all the things about donor advised funds, but you can even take crypto, and I have a person that can put that on your website. So let me just take a look at my notes and make sure I've told you absolutely everything I was thinking of. Yeah, lifetime donor machine. We have donor psychology. We created mission, momentum, intentional event design, right? Monetize your minutes. We intentionally did all of the things to get the right people to give the money in the joyful way they like to give. And we want them to support long after the event because you joyfully welcome them beyond the return on experience to be a return on a lifetime donor.
So can we take somebody and you can...
Absolutely. Who wants to be in the hot seat? Bring me a problem and we'll fix it.
Kim, do you have any? There's a fundraiser coming up. That's what
Oh, who has a fundraiser coming up?
I have one on Saturday.
Oh my goodness, come on up.
Thanks, Kathy.
And you know, if we have time, we'll bring you up too.
I'm the same
You
one.
can bring
Oh,
up
the
the
same
board
one.
president.
The board president.
Oh, you're going to be in the hot seat with me.
Yeah, come on,
I have
both
to
of you,
sit
come
there.
on up. And what's your name?
Kim.
Kim, and what's your organization?
Goodness Village.
Goodness Village. Well, that sounds like a place I want to give money to. What do you do?
We're the tiny home community for the formerly unsheltered.
Oh, wonderful. I used to work in that industry. I love it. And your name is Richard. Richard, okay. So what are you thinking about? We have an event on Saturday. Where's it going to be?
At the Robert Livermore Community Center.
Okay, great, at the community
So,
center.
come.
Oh, if you haven't bought your
You
ticket,
should come anyway.
they have no room, but what you can all do is go and then let me know what they did wrong.
Now, that's an attitude problem.
So, what's keeping you awake about this thing?
Nothing's keeping me awake about this thing. I have a really great board committee putting it together. I think we have a really good auctioneer. I think money's coming in. I really liked your DAF idea because that was kind of worrying me of how do we capture that. Our issue is the person that runs the Octria cards typically does that on Monday when he's back in the office. And so I'm wondering, and we've never had to return funds, you know, when we've done it, but is that too long?
It is too long. Is your event Saturday? So here's what happens. We want people to be able to give that joyful gift in the night they gave it. And so I would have him come and be back of the house, and you're gonna have to have your auctioneer work with him, but they're gonna have to do is this: get the raffle numbers to him early, so those can be happening while this next event, because we're doing an overlay after every single, if your timeline's set up right. And then while the live auction's happening, get those sheets and get those entered in. Then whatever other endeavors are happening, rip the sheets and get them to him right away. And then by the time you're done with your thank yous and all this kind of stuff, those last numbers will have been entered in, and you're using Octria. I love Octria. And I don't get any money for saying this. And now, can you imagine sending a text that night and people can all be done?
Yeah, I like that idea. My other question, I really liked where you were saying that if you have somebody to recognize with your larger gift, but then I'm also very cautious of somebody who's been drinking a bit of wine and maybe trauma triggered and take the mic and want to share their life story in the middle of my fundraiser.
Okay, here's what you're going to do.
Christine, what who I'm worried about.
Oh, Christine, I knew it all along.
Who are we talking?
We're not supposed to
There was nobody named.
So this is what I do. You know, I am so happy to be the executive director of this organization, and I want to, since it's the very start of the evening, before they've had too much, I just want to say this is our lead sponsor tonight, and would you like to just make a statement? What is your statement that you would like us all to know? They don't touch this microphone ever.
Perfect, we're not handing it to them.
Okay. Yeah. What is your statement?
Yeah,
Real quick, and then thank you. You know, you can even, if it's getting too long, thank you. Don't we appreciate them?
Yeah, and my question was not, I'm not concerned about our premier donor. When you were saying during the fund a need for the larger donors, and you're the hero, did you want to acknowledge anybody? That's who I'm wondering.
Same
we're
thing.
At the end of the
It's
night.
real quick. And normally they won't. And I'm looking out for that. And, what's your amount? I'm going to keep distance if this person's been drinking.
Okay.
What would that joyful gift be? $5,000. Thank you so much. We're on to the next thing. Thank you. Everybody acknowledge our wonderful donor. Blah, blah, blah. On to the next one, right? So that person with the microphone has to be a reader, a human reader.
Yes.
And don't let it go sideways. But it sounds like you're in great shape.
I think we're in really great shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our 5-year anniversary.
Congratulations. Let's put your hands together for them. We're doing a great job.
No, we're just looking forward to it. We really want to encourage. I like the idea of, conveying compassion for what we're doing, because that's the way I wrote my speech.
Meant to. Yep.
So we'll kind of do that together. So try to emphasize to the audience what it's all about, why they're there, and hopefully encourage them to give.
Could I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I'm working with a very large group like yours, and I'm working on their marketing. And one of the things that I wanted to emphasize is we all have our own definition of home. What is home, you know? And so you might just say, have everyone think about, what does home mean to you? And sometimes it isn't, wow, I have a place where my school books aren't going to get wet now, and I actually have a bed. And so what home means to people who are unhoused is completely different to what we assume home is. Because me, you know what, I got a leaky toilet upstairs in bathroom number 2, and the fence needs to be replaced, and boy, don't some people really, really wish they could have that problem. You're so welcome. Let's thank our wonderful superstars here. You're welcome. Anybody else? I'm going to wrap it up. Last call, I'm going to wrap it up. Does anybody have another question they want me to answer? Yes, ma'am.
It takes a lot. What would your suggestion be, live auction before or after fund and need?
I like the live auction before, and I'll tell you why. I like to do some fun endeavors that bring the energy in the room up, right? And then we do the live auction, and then everyone's, whew, that's great. I don't want them to have to come all the way up again because it's exhausting for them, but it is all strategized with the energy in the room. So cocktail hour or not cocktail hour, you don't have to get them drunk. And because your cause is so good, we don't have to manipulate anybody, right? And get the live auction, get that money, and then bring them down, bring the lights down, tell the story, tell the transformation. This is heart to heart. It's not manipulative, it's truth. And then offer the opportunity to make a joyful gift. And that's my MO. Give a joyful gift. What is joyful giving? Depending on the group, it's biblical. Depending on another group, it's fun. But I believe in joyful giving, not manipulative getting. Thanks. Anybody else? So, how do you work with me? Well, I'm in San Jose. My business cards are here. I am going to offer you all a 30-minute consultation if you would like, just to see where are you? Can I help you? Can I give you some hints? And I'm starting my next cohort was going to be after the gala work for 3 months, but I have so many people saying, can you just do the whole gala? So can you imagine if you could plan the gala with me and a group and you'd have it all done in like 9 meetings and then you wouldn't have to spend all that time doing the sponsorship and all that kind of stuff. So if you think that would be helpful to work in a cohort and have the recordings to create your best event, I'm happy to talk to you, and I'm going to get that rolling in July. So by September you would have your timeline and everything completed, and you're not running around in circles. You'll have a strategic reverse engineered plan to monetize your minutes. Thank you all for having me. I hope it's been valuable.
Again, just want to thank everybody for coming out this morning, and hope you got something out of this. I'm sure you did. I know I did. And we have a gift for Dee Dee that Jen is bringing up right now, and again, she'll be at our event next week doing her thing, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you.